Hi folks, welcome. Recently somebody sent me an alternator for my car and they just sent it in a box like that. Consequently, the alternator fell out of the box and the alternator was ruined. Well, with a little bit of careful planning and preparation that could have been avoided, but the same thing can happen with pots, can't it? So what I'm about to do is I've got to send off a pot, and I just thought I'd bring you in on it, and maybe we could just talk about what's involved in wrapping up a pot. Having said that, I need to get myself organised, and I need some newspaper. Thought I had everything here, but I didn't. There's always something you forget, isn't there? Yeah, so what I propose to do is I have to send off this small raku piece, and so I've chosen a box. I don't want it to be too big, the box, otherwise it might cost me unnecessary money to send. The important thing is to make sure that you have a good amount of space between the pot and the side there, and check that not only sideways like that but also up and down like that, that you are going to have enough room to pad it out sufficiently. Now what you can do is use these kind of chips, and they're very good. But what I always like to do is, before I use those, what I like to do is wrap it up, at least in a few sheets of newspaper. Newspaper is actually very good for wrapping up pottery. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to wrap that around like that. Got a bit of sellotape there, I'm going to put around that. Okay, so that's first. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these guys. These I think are sort of designed so that they kind of interlock together, pretty much. Like that. And then the pot is going to go, always err on the side of putting in a bit extra. And don't cut corners. So if you've got space in your box, put in as much as you can. If you haven't got space, well, get a bigger box. Alright, can you see that? Right, we're now going to infill around the edges. I used to work for my father, David Leach, potter, in Devon, England, and sometimes we had to pack up pots. And I always felt that sometimes my dad's packing was a little bit, you know, a little bit suspect, really. We used to pack up everything pretty much with newspaper. And I think quite often pots did get broken. Now, so get a good lot of these so you can really you want it to be standing up a bit proud, so when you push it down it really, you know, keeps that pot rigid in there. Like that. Now over like that. what I'm going to do is I've got some of this wide tape, so I'm just going to, if you've got one of those tape dispensers, they are very good to have. I don't have one with me at the moment. So I try to utilise as much as I can old boxes. Now I know my brother John, and I'm sure he would say, don't be such a mean. You should use new boxes. You should get them already flat packed, as it were, and then you just open them out. Now that little box, I would say, is pretty good. Now you want to inspect it for any kind of places where you think it could lift off, you know, where, or like this guy, you can imagine a great weight like that. This actually came damaged, and I had to say to the guy, look, I'm sorry, but the alternator you sent arrived damaged. He said, no problem, I'll send you another. So do you know what he did? He got, instead of a box like that, he got a box like this, and just put the alternator in the box with no packing at all. So of course the alternator was clanging around inside there. I don't know how it arrived in one piece. I would have thought that would be worse. Anyway, it appears to work, which is good. So what I need to do now is, I'm a little bit not necessarily very au fait with the way that things have to be addressed over here in the USA, but I've got to write the address of the guy here. I've got to write my address on it as well. So yeah. Because this has been like a second-hand box, it's got other writing on it, which I suppose I ought to really try to scratch off or get off. I haven't got any of those white sticky labels with me, unfortunately. So I'm just going to write my name. See, I'll write his name here. So Road, Louisville, Ohio. 44641. And my address. There. I think that will be okay. So I'm also going to write on here, never a bad idea to do so, write fragile on the box. Right. So hopefully that'll be it. Will be okay. That should be well enough packed so if it falls like that, there's no risk of damage to the piece. So there we are, folks. Simon Leach here saying, keep practicing and pack them up well and address them well, and they should get there in one piece, hopefully. Keep practicing. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.